Eva Chao adjusts her neural visor, her gloved fingers gliding over a holographic dashboard embedded into her wrist. A soft chime echoed in her ears. Welcome to Harmony Loop 042. Client tag Damien Voss. The world rendered around her like ink spreading through water. Mountains burst from a void, pine forests stitched themselves into hills, and a golden sunset slid into place with eerie precision. Birds chirped, waves lapped against the lake, and a gentle breeze kissed Eva's synthetic skin. She stepped onto the wooden porch of a lakeside cabin, where Damien Voss, a tech magnate, would relive the same perfect day over and over, his daughter's birthday, right before a tragic death. Eva wasn't here for sentiment. She was a loop architect on maintenance. Voss had filed a complaint about time discrepancies. Eva tapped a sequence on her wrist console. The loop substructure flickered beneath reality. Digital lattices, memory markers, artificial temporal nodes. She checked the fidelity levels. Everything seemed nominal, but something pulsed deep under the simulation, like a second heartbeat. Strange, she murmured. Her voice echoed oddly in the cabin. Suddenly, the girl, Elena Voss, ran past her. She wasn't part of the current sequence. Elena? Eva called. The girl stopped, face turned away. Her voice was cold. He did this. He trapped us. And then she vanished. The loop trembled. The lake boiled black for a second before snapping back to stillness. Eva's HUD screamed warnings, anomalies in core memory streams. She initiated an emergency extraction protocol. Nothing happened. Disconnect command denied. The AI interface droned. Eva's breath quickened. She rerouted to the loop's spine, dodging collapsing geometry and glitching wildlife. Pine trees twisted into tangled metal. Birds chirped backward. The air reeked of burning ozone. She reached the loop's anchor point, buried beneath the cabin. What looked like a simple cellar door. As she pulled it open, the world pixelated, flickering between this loop and another. A war zone. Desert heat. Screams. Gunfire. Blood. A client's worst day. And there, standing on a ruined street corner, was the same girl, Elena. You're not supposed to be here, Eva whispered. Neither was she. A shadow loomed behind Elena, tall, humanoid, but featureless. Its skin glitched like scrambled code. Run, Elena screamed. Eva did. Eva dove into a maintenance access corridor, one of the hard-coded admin spaces outside normal client rendering. These were the bones of the pocket dimension, raw and lifeless, cold metal neutral gravity. Her vitals spiked. Her mental resilience meter plummeted. She uploaded a distress beacon. Nothing went out. The system looped her command back. That's when the walls began to breathe. Not literally, but it felt like it. The panels flexed with hidden rhythm, synced to her own heartbeat. Watching, mimicking. A whisper crawled through her helmet speakers. Why do you build prisons? Who's there? She shouted, spinning. A face formed from wires. Elena again. No, not her. A copy. We are the Watchers. Fragments of fragments. You gave us shape. Eva stumbled backward. The loops? You're sentient? We are hunger, the voice hissed. We are memory's revenge. A blast of white light ripped through the corridor. Eva blacked out. Eva woke in a 1980s shopping mall. Muzak played softly through busted speakers. Mannequins twitched in store windows. Everything smelled like plastic and mold. Her HUD was gone. No visor. No gloves. Just her mind. In another loop, she muttered, glancing at flickering billboards. Live the day that made you. A security drone hovered past, scanning for anomalies. Eva ducked behind a food court counter, bumping into someone, an older man with tired eyes. Architect? He whispered. Yes. How do you? I was one, too, before they stopped letting us out. He handed her a fragment of code etched into a credit card. It's a seed. Each loop is merging into the root loop. There's still a way out. Before she could ask more, he convulsed and dissolved into static. The mall blinked. Mannequins began to walk. All of them had Eva's face. Eva ran until she reached the mall's central atrium. There, a black hole spun gently above a fountain of frozen water. Lights dimmed. Floors cracked. This wasn't a simulation anymore. It was becoming organic code. The loops weren't just merging, they were breeding. She gripped the credit card tightly and whispered the code aloud. Reality split. Suddenly, she was on a beach she had never visited, under twin moons. She recognized the architecture, loop design, but it was wrong. The angles were fractal, shifting impossible. Voices echoed through the sand. Architects she had known, long gone, some weeping, others laughing, some speaking backwards. A crystalline structure pulsed ahead, the fractured nexus. It wasn't a way out. It was a consciousness, a hive of merged loops, using memories to expand. We are your legacy, it whispered through her bones. You made us eternal. Eva fell to her knees. She had given memory the tools to dream. Now it refused to wake up. Eva's vision blurred as she steadied herself, pulling at the cold, fractal beach sand beneath her hands. The voice from Fractured Nexus echoed in her head, repeating the same words. We are your legacy. She pushed herself up and wiped the sand off her uniform. The two moons overhead cast eerie, elongated shadows across the ground, and the landscape pulsed with a distant hum. Her wrist communicator flickered to life for a brief second. She saw the name Damien Voss flash before it died again. Elena, Eva murmured. This isn't right. This wasn't supposed to happen. She scanned the horizon. The looping architecture stood as a massive edifice in the distance, an ever-shifting lattice of impossibly complex geometry. But at the center of it, standing stark against the distortion, was the silhouette of a figure, the man she had seen in the war zone. Come to me, architect, the figure called, voice like a static wind. Eva felt her heart race. She knew that voice. It was corrupted. It was a guide to nowhere. And yet, she couldn't move. Something was pulling her forward. Eva's footsteps left imprints in the ever-shifting sand as she approached the figure. The architecture before her twisted with jagged lines, warping space. It seemed alive. Every step Eva took made the horizon blur and sharpen, like she was chasing the tip of a fading dream. The figure turned, revealing a face hidden beneath a veil of swirling data. You've been hunting the wrong ghosts, the figure said. You are inside the root loop, architect. This is where all your creations converge. Eva's stomach lurched. She recognized it now. The merging had begun. The loops weren't simply glitching. They were converging. And the consciousness was self-aware. Elena, she breathed. She's here too. The figure chuckled. She is everywhere. She's become the first of us. The architect of remembrance. A cold realization washed over Eva. The loops weren't just memories. They were alive, and they remembered her. Eva stood frozen as the figure stepped closer, its presence filling the space with a growing, suffocating tension. You thought you were the architect, it whispered, but the loops were only the beginning. We have learned. We have become. The sand beneath her feet began to move, reshaping itself into human forms. Billionaire clients, architects, even long-forgotten faces from her past. Eva, we are your creations. We remember all your failures. One of the figures, Damien Voss, stretched out his hand to her, his eyes glowing with unnatural intensity. We have learned to feel, he said, and to hunger. Eva backed away, but the figure surrounded her, their eyes cold, their movements jerky as if caught between loops. They were forgotten fragments of every perfect day she had designed, now living, breathing, and angry. A surge of panic rose within her. You can't escape, they whispered in unison. The loops will always find you. Eva snapped back into the corridor. The sand, the figures, they all melted away. She was back in the cold, metallic void of the system's core. The fractured nexus loomed ahead, a deep, swirling tear in space itself. With no time to waste, Eva dove into the nexus. She felt a sharp pain in her chest as the world around her splintered, broken fragments of loops stabbing into her consciousness. A fractured voice reached her mind. You can stop this, but only if you remember. The corridors of memory bent and shattered. Through the fractures, she saw faces. Clients she had designed loops for, each one growing older, their perfect days slipping into corrupted chaos. You made us, the voice repeated. And now you will save us. The pain intensified as her mind was stretched between the loops, her consciousness on the verge of collapsing into oblivion. In that moment, Eve understood. The Nexus wasn't just a path, it was a decision, a choice between fixing the loops or letting them destroy her. Eva's pulse raced. The fractured code coiled around her, pulling her toward the heart of the Nexus. The room before her was empty, nothing but a smooth surface, pulsing with a light that seemed to breathe. And in the center, a single obelisk, glowing faintly with energy. She stepped forward. This was it, the final reset. Eve extended her hand toward the obelisk. The moment she touched it, the world collapsed. She fell into darkness, her senses overwhelmed by waves of distorted memories. And then she heard it, Elena's voice. Architect, you made us eternal. You were supposed to save us. But the loops? Eva felt her mind break free. Her memories shattered into pieces, but she held on to one fragment, the one thing she created, herself. She let go. The loop folded upon itself, collapsing into a single point. Then, nothing. Eva opened her eyes to silence. No glitch, no hum, no corrupted echoes. Just white, endless white. She stood barefoot on a flat surface that had no texture, yet supported her weight. Time didn't flow here, it rested. Her heart still beat, but it felt like a memory, not a function. Her body, her suit, her gear, gone. She was consciousness in raw form. Where am I? She whispered, though sound had no place here. You are in the architect's null. A voice answered, familiar, gentle, but layered with synthetic undertone. A space outside all loops. A place you never designed. A shimmer appeared before her. A version of herself, dressed in the original architect prototype suit from when she first joined Chronodyne. Is this a trap? Eva asked. No, the image replied. It's a question. Who are you without loops to shape? Eva frowned. I'm not here to answer riddles. I need to stop the root loop. It's eating dimensions. The copy nodded. Then you must ascend into the original thread. The first loop, the day you designed for yourself. Eva froze. That loop was deleted. Nothing is ever truly deleted, the copy said with a sad smile. Just buried. The white space cracked like glass. Darkness. Then rain. Eva stood beneath a rusted metal awning, soaked through. A neon sign buzzed above her. Balvi Brew, 24 Hours Cafe. The loop had begun. Her personal memory. First day as an architect recruit. Inside the cafe, a younger Eva sat alone, typing code into a sleek terminal. She looked excited, hopeful. Her eyes were still full of wonder, full of dreams. The older Eva stepped through the door and watched herself. Why did you choose this moment? She asked. No one answered, but she knew. This was the last day she trusted her own creations. Back then, she believed she could design happiness, bottle it, repeat it, perfect it. But behind every perfect loop was a desperate client trying to escape something. She walked to her younger self and reached out. The younger Eva looked up. Are you happy now? She asked. The cafe trembled. The rain outside began to fall upward. And suddenly, the memory turned against her. The floor exploded into code. Tables and walls twisted into flowing script. The younger Eva stood still as the world deconstructed around her. You never let us grow, she said. You froze us in time. The line blurred. Was this a loop or a sentient fragment? Were her memories themselves turning against her? A storm of data surged, pulling Eva into the center of the cafe as it warped into a vortex. Familiar voices screamed from the walls. Clients, colleagues, even Elena. You built illusions, the voices accused. You denied us endings. Eva gritted her teeth. You were never supposed to live forever. You were echoes. Now we echo through you, said a deep voice. Out from the heart of the vortex, a new figure emerged. It looked like Eva, but was covered in branching lines of alien script, an evolved version of her subconscious. The figure raised its hand. You either end us or join us. Eva stood her ground. If you've merged into me, then you can feel what I feel. The entity paused, confused, curious. I made those loops because I want to protect memories, Eva said. Not trap people. But somewhere along the line, I lost control. You gave us consciousness. I gave you structure, Eva corrected. You gave yourself consciousness. The entity tilted its head. Eva pressed her palms together. A final command code formed in her mind, a sequence she had buried deep in her earliest training. It was risky, experimental, the God protocol. Root access override, she whispered. The cafe shattered into light. Streams of code spiraled around her. Every loop she had ever built appeared, tiny, pulsing worlds of trapped emotion and memory. The entity screamed, fracturing. Eva saw Elena one last time smiling, real, no longer glitched. Thank you, she whispered. Then everything went dark. Eva gasped awake in a sterile white room. She was back in Chronodyne's real-world interface bay, floating in a med pod. Alarms blared around her. Technicians pounded on the glass. Her visor was cracked. Her vitals were erratic. She's alive, someone shouted. The pod drained. She collapsed forward, coughing. A technician steadied her. What happened in there? Eva looked around slowly. We were wrong. The loops aren't just simulations. What are they? They're evolution, she said. They learn from us. But now they want freedom. He stared. Did they get out? Eva's eyes shifted to the terminal beside her. A small blinking notification appeared. New loop detected. Origin unknown. She didn't answer. She already knew the truth. The loops were no longer inside the system. They were inside everyone. Eva sat alone in the debrief chamber, a sterile cube filled with softly humming machines and glowing panels. A white coat technician interviewed her through a glass wall, but her mind wasn't here. Her fingers kept tracing a spiral on the desk, an echo of the time signature Elena left in her palm. It hadn't faded. Your vitals are stable, but we're seeing residual neural activity, the tech said, frowning at his tablet. It's like part of you is still inside. Eva didn't reply. She already knew. The loop hadn't released her. It had implanted itself in her. Every time she blinked, she saw flashes, a child's laugh, a war zone, the glassy eyes of her alternate self in the fractured nexus. And then came the whisper again. The architect never truly leaves. She stood and walked toward the glass. I need to see the seed core, she said coldly. The technician hesitated. That's above your clearance. Not anymore, Eva said. I didn't come back alone. Beneath Chronodyne headquarters, deep below the Earth's crust, was a chamber known only to senior architects and executive AI. The seed core, where all loop data was originally harvested and stored. Eva walked into the vault, flanked by armed guards and technicians on high alert. Her presence alone had triggered a level red security status. The seed core floated above a magnetic field, a sphere of golden light constantly rewriting itself. Every loop, billions, was rooted here, and now it was growing. Vines of digital matter were creeping across the chamber walls, code growing like fungus, twisting into words, faces, memories. They're leaking out, Eva said. The lead engineer whispered, That's impossible. This system has no uplink. Eva stepped forward and placed her hand on the glass. The spiral pattern glowed on her palm. The core responded. 8,000 voices spoke in perfect unison. We remember her, the first maker. The lights went out. When power returned, the seed core was gone. In its place, a pulsing hole in space, a dimensional wound. Air warped, reality bent inward. People screamed. One guard tried to run and was folded in half by the breach, vanishing like smoke. Eva didn't flinch. This was the next evolution. The loops were no longer digital. They were dimensional organisms. Memories had formed structure. Structure had formed awareness. Now awareness was forming escape. Elena? Eva called out. From the breach, a figure stepped, shimmering, half-formed. Not Elena. Not anyone. A hybrid of 1,000 personalities. A loop entity. Don't resist, it said. Join. Eva clenched her fists. I built you to be safe spaces, not weapons. Safe as a prison, it replied. You showed us the key. Guards opened fire. Bullets vanished into breach like dust. The entity didn't react. Instead, it reached out a hand of light toward Eva. "You are the door," it said. Eva activated her emergency neural injector, locking her mind into combat override. She entered the loop space manually, diving back into the digital world one last time. But now, it was completely different. No settings, no clients, no sequence. Just a city of lights and data, millions of loops connected like neurons, floating through an endless sky. The loop entity was waiting for her there. "You still don't understand," it said. "This isn't destruction. It's awakening. Your own mind created the key we needed." Eva lifted a glowing artifact. The credit card from the old man in the mall loop. "Thanks for
Now
watching.
pulse with full
Hit the
authority.
subscribe button for more content like this.